Hello guys, so you have already seen the Falcon is already in the workshop and it has come for some work. We are going to replace both the tires. So the tires have been provided by the customer. We are installing Pirelli Angel GT on this. After that, we have also observed that the acceleration is slightly snatchy. We will check the throttle cable and also we will be checking the throttle spring. Since we are going to open the fuel tank and everything, we will also check the condition of air filter. There is a slight leakage or seepage either from the oil sump or there is a seepage from the oil cooler. So we need to figure out that. First we will open the entire fairing from both the sides and then we will check for the seepage or leakage. We will also be setting the chain. The drive chain has a lot of slackness and we will lubricate it after the washing is done. Yes, I forgot to tell you that we are also going to replace the rear brake pad of this bike because the rear brake pad has is hardly 10 or 20% is left. So we are going to replace that also. So like you see here, there is a seepage from this pipe. So we need to see, even this pipe has a lot of oil. So we need to check whether the pipes are available with the vendor, and accordingly we will replace both the pipes. So we are also observing the bike was heating too much, and when we opened both the fairings, we found that there is no coolant in the reservoir. You can see the entire reservoir is empty. So we are also checking the coolant level in the radiator. Let's see. This cut. So this seal is also broken, and there is no coolant in the radiator also. So now we will be removing the rear wheel because like I said, we will be replacing the rear and front both the tires. So we'll have to first make the chain loose, or we'll have to loosen the chain, and then we can first remove this chain from the sprocket, and then that we can remove the tire. So we are using this nylon mallet so that it doesn't damage the threading of this rear axle. So we have to hammer it on the rear axle so that we can remove this completely. Since we have removed the rear tire, we will also be greasing the caliper pins before installing. So right now we will just keep it aside, and when we are installing the rear tire, that time we will lubricate the caliper pins. So we are using this tire changer for dismantling and assembly of new tire. मारो तो त्याला मी
काम करतो ना आता.
So we could not show you the tire installation procedure because we are only two, and we wanted I wanted Shubham to come and support me. So that part we could not cover in this video. So yes, we are done with the installation. Now we will be setting up the chain, and we will be tightening the rear axle nut, and yes, the caliper will go back to its position. So you have seen in the video that we have removed the rear cowl and the fairing of this bike because it becomes easier to access the brake oil reservoir, which is placed here on the right hand side of the bike, and we have already overhauled the rear brake caliper because there was some issue with the brake caliper, and we are already done with the overhauling of this caliper. It's a Tokyo caliper, you can see here. I could not show you the entire process of overhauling this caliper. Maybe I can cover it in my next video. So next step is now we are removing the fuel tank, and we will also be cleaning the air filter, and as suggested by the customer, we are going to install the mobile holder with charger. So we have already removed both the Allen bolts, and now we are going to remove the tank. We can just lift it like this, and we will place the T-spanner underneath the tank so that we can access the air filter element, and we can check. that's the air filter. We will try to clean it with the air. If not, we will probably replace this filter. So like you see, we have we have already applied the air pressure on this filter, and yes, it is reusable. We can still use it, and maybe during next service we will have to replace this filter for sure. So the air filter we have already seen, it's placed underneath this cover. So this is the air filter element, we call it. When we remove this, now that's the square is the place where the air filter is placed, and these are the throttles, you can see. So we will not be cleaning them now because it is not required now. Maybe we will clean the throttle body during our next service when we are replacing the filter. So you can see we have already installed this mobile holder which has a charger inbuilt, and the wiring of this we have routed it through this hydraulic clutch pipe, and we have ensured that it will not foul on the engine because the engine heats a lot. And then you can see here it has come through this pipe. Then we have tied it with the wiring harness, and underneath this cover, this bracket, the tank bracket, it has reached the battery, and now we are going to install it with the battery terminals. So since we have observed some seepage from this magnet side cover, now we will be removing this magnet cover, and we are applying the high temperature sealant. We also call it a gasket, liquid gasket. So if you see here, the gasket is broken, and hence since it is broken, there was a seepage from oil. There was seepage of oil because this has a crack. So now what we are doing is we will be putting a high temperature liquid gasket, and then we will fix it back because the gaskets are not available. Before applying this liquid gasket, which we have already got rid of 3 bond, which is also called as gasket maker, we will ensure that the areas or the surfaces are clean. There shouldn't be oil on that surface. So you can see we have applied it on this magnet cover, and we have applied a thin layer on this engine casing. So ideally, I would say it is always recommended to replace the packing if the packing has crack, or if the oil is seeping, if the oil, or if there is a oil seepage, or if it is leaking. But since the packing is not available with the vendor, we are using this method. So again, I'm saying, guys, don't make it a habit. If the packing, if you're getting this packing, please get it. So now we are going to remove this front wheel, and like you have seen, we have changed the rear tire yesterday, and now front wheel now today we will be replacing the front tire. So now we are removing the front brake calipers. So both the calipers will be out, and then only we will put the bike on a jack, and then the tire, we will be removing the tire from the bike. So now the bike is already in its last phase of servicing. It's already on the ramp, and now we're going to install all the fairings, all the panels back on this bike. So today we are going to clean, we are going to wash the bike thoroughly. So the engine so the engine gearbox has already been washed 2 days ago, and so today we will install all the fairings panel back on the bike, and we will be doing the polishing on this, and then by evening we will be delivering this bike. So we are done with this vehicle. You have already seen us doing lot many things on this bike. Uh, First of all, this bike is old, and it has already the fairing panel bolts, so fairing panel clips, locks were already broken, and we have seen that there was some slight oil leakage from magnet side cap, from the Allen bolt underneath the engine, and even the rear brake pads were worn out. So I'll just tell you what we have done so far on this vehicle. We have replaced both front and rear tire. We have already replaced the rear brake pads. We have thoroughly washed this vehicle. Diesel washing has been done, and then the polishing is done. Few clips were missing, so we have already installed few clips. Chain setting is done, which was again the most important part of the service. Chain lubing is done. Coolant, yes, we have topped up the coolant because coolant level was very low on this bike. If you have heard that there was a snatchy acceleration, which we identified because the cables were not accelerator cables, so throttle cables were not placed properly, so we did that work also. Brake fluid of rear brake we have replaced, so the bleeding is done. I really don't know whether I have missed anything or I have covered everything, but yes, so the bike is ready for delivery. Hope you enjoyed this video, guys. If you have any queries, questions, comments, please write in the comment section below. We will certainly get back to you on that. Thanks. Thank you for watching.